What's going on, everybody? It's Rev, and welcome back to another Dauntless video. In patch 1.3.6, unique effects for Nasher and Karabakh were added to Dauntless. These unique effects shake things up for both their respective elements, but by how much? Let's take a look into the levels of damage these UEs are dealing, and so let's get right into it. First, we're going to be going over the Nasher unique effect. If you're unfamiliar with it, after entering combat, a timer will start ticking down. You can think of this as your own personal enrage timer. At max level, when the timer hits 0, your character will enrage and you'll gain a passive 15% damage for the duration and be unstaggerable. Taking damage reduces the cooldown period of the enrage and gets you back to the enrage state faster. However, if you ever die, the cooldown resets and you have to start all over again. The cooldown timer is roughly a minute, which is a really long time for any unique effect, so you definitely want to be taking as much damage as possible to make the most of this unique effect. This is kind of a scenario where this unique effect isn't groundbreaking, but it's better than nothing. If you're grinding neutral damage mastery, this is the weapon to use. But outside of that, the neutral weapons are still not going to see much play. If you compare it to other weapons that offer damage, Drask offers 30% all of the time if you're hitting heads or tails. Riftstalker can easily get you over 15% passive damage so long as you're actively hitting the behemoth. I digress. It's the best of the neutral element, but needs some work to be comparable to the best of the best. On top of this, the UE is just clunky. Getting hit means you're not dealing damage while you're on the ground, and you can't run really strong perks like Berserker or Predator, because you'll lose the buff by the time you get back into the fight. I do see this being decent in Ardent Cyclone sword builds and general play axe builds, as they both already have the ability to be unstaggerable outside of the enrage window to get the timer down at a decent rate. My solution for this would be to honestly just make it neutral weapons able to deal additional damage to neutral behemoths, similar to how Dragon Element affects dragon type monsters in Monster Hunter. I think that would add an interesting dynamic, and I think it would be more interesting in, say, Trials when a neutral behemoth shows up, to see these neutral element weapon builds to just make it a little bit more rounded. I don't see how there would be any negative to that, but maybe I'm just not seeing something that others might. If you think that's a good or a bad idea, let me know in the comment section. Moving on to the Karabakh unique effect, which has some real potential for all you Trials nuts out there. Here's how it works. At first instance of damage from the player, 3 blades will appear around your Slayer. These blades deal damage over time and get faster as you keep dealing damage to the behemoth. As the duration of the blade ends, they will explode for bursts of damage based on how fast the blades were spinning. The gnarly thing about this unique effect is that each blade can deal damage to the behemoth. Utilizing this in crafty ways will allow skilled players to get a ton of damage off in a short amount of time. Just to kind of showcase its power, here is the Boreas unique effect with Ardent Cyclone. And here's the Karabakh unique effect with Ardent Cyclone with only 2 blades hitting. I suspect that this unique effect is going to be the go-to Terra weapon after Terra Escalation legendaries are available. The weapon itself is really meh, but if you add flexible cell slots into the mix, you might just be able to overlook that Bladestorm +3. The downside to this unique effect is the long cooldown, and that you can't really control when this UE activates. Once you deal damage to a behemoth, that's it. It's go time for better or worse. I'm not sure if this is a big enough negative to put down how much damage potential this UE has. At the very least, particular fights will see some use. Fights that knock down behemoths early like Nezaga and Malkarian are going to be really strong for this unique effect. Easily a top tier contender, but I'm gonna hold on to that until Terra Escalation actually goes live. But what do you guys think about these unique effects? Can you think of any awesome builds for these weapons? I really like the idea of an Ardent Cyclone, Karabakh Blades, Dervish of Death build, so you'll probably see a video on that somewhere in the near future. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more Dauntless content. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see you on the Shattered Isles.